Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be doing a video about your guide to your freshman orientation for college. I recently got a job with my school where I help out with freshman orientations. So the other day I just did my first one and it reminded me of I guess my opinions that I had before I was doing my freshman orientation or what I wasn't expecting about it, and I thought it might be a cool video to do. This video is geared more towards college or high school students, seniors in high school who are applying to college, who got into their college and who are going to their orientation. I think, from my experience, most big universities have an orientation day where they sort of tell you about everything you're going to be doing, and nobody really told me what to expect with my orientation right away, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. This is just speaking from my experience. It could be totally different. I am in college. I went through my own orientation, and then my sister also went through an orientation for her college, and we both go to big universities. That's probably shaping my view. I'm not sure how community colleges work, or if they have orientations, or if it's the same. So I can't speak on that behalf. Um, so I have a few things written here. The first thing I want to mention is, when I was doing my orientation, they said it would take from 8 until 4:30 p.m. So when I first heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way it's going to take that long. It's obviously just, that's a big window that they're just going to use. It's not going to take all day. Well, it does take all day. Generally, even potentially longer, depending on what all you have to do that day and how organized your school is. So my first tip would be to prepare for a very long day at school. And it probably will take all of the time that they say it's going to take, because basically I'll tell you what you do. So you get there, and then they'll probably have some sort of announcements or speakers about um, campus regulations, rules. They'll probably talk about harassment, rape, stuff like that. They'll probably talk about their student organizations that you have available to you, or clubs, or club sports, or just normal sports. They'll probably tell you about majors you can do. Sometimes, I'm not entirely sure about that. They'll probably have some sort of activities for you to be doing, um, we had a sort of scavenger hunt type thing. They'll probably have something like that for you. They'll probably have a big lunch time set aside. During part of it, they'll probably split you up into your majors and then talk about specific things for your majors, and they'll have a different place for if you're undeclared. And then they'll have you most likely register for your classes. I'm not sure if they do that at every school. One of my friends goes to a different school, and they all take the same classes for the same majors. They start out doing the same thing, so it might be different for your school. But generally, they'll probably have you sign up for your classes that day, talk to an advisor, and then you'll get your ID for your school, your ID. And then at my school, they have a sort of mixer where you figure out, you could meet people, you could look at clubs and stuff. But it's a huge day. So that's the student side of it. I know that there's also generally a parent sort of side for parents who maybe don't have kids in college, or who are new to the whole college experience. So if you brought your mom or dad, they take the parents off to a separate area, which I was not expecting. Thankfully, my boyfriend goes to the same school as me, so he was also at my orientation, and so we could hang out, because it is very intimidating if you're there alone. But you probably will be alone, so I would prepare for that, and also just try to talk to people, or get in, make some sort of friends, because your parents probably are going to be talking about other stuff. So in the parent section of an orientation, they'll generally talk about school, finances, like financial aid, like talking about the FAFSA. They'll probably talk about the living options that you have at your school. They'll talk about that with students too. I just go to a commuter school, so that part isn't as big of a deal that they talk about, I don't think. Um, Sorry, that's my mom. So they talk about with the parents like living options, like food plans, like stuff that they think that the parents are going to be paying for, and then like also what to expect if you're not familiar with like college and like how to help your kids succeed, I guess. So if your parent does not want to go because they'll probably be there all day as well, that's totally fine. I don't think it's required for parents, but it's generally required for students, so you could get everything figured out. So one of my suggestions that I think you should bring is you should bring a bag, because 9 out of 10 times they're going to give you free stuff. Like you'll probably get a t-shirt, you'll probably get a lot of information. You'll get like pamphlet upon pamphlet of like things to do on like all about your like campus. Like you'll probably get like a lot of information, and so if you don't have a bag, like I don't think I had a bag, and so that was super annoying, and I had to like lug it around all day. You should also bring like some sort of way to keep track of information. So if you're more of like a tech savvy person, you might want to make sure your phone's really charged so you can put all the information in your phone. For me, I like pen and paper, so you might want to bring like a notebook and a piece of something to write with. Definitely bring something to write with, because 90% of the time they're going to have you write something down, or they're going to tell you something important. Like they gave us the campus security number of my school, and I didn't write it down, so I had to find that later and stuff like that. So bring something to write with. You'll generally need that. Something to write on if you want to take notes, because you are going to be bombarded with information. So make sure you eat beforehand so you can focus. Sometimes they'll give you food, like I think they provide bagels at my new student orientation in the morning, so you're not like starving all day. And then potentially they might show you the campus. They might give you a tour. So I would prepare to be walking a lot just in case. So wear like comfortable shoes. And at my freshman orientation, it was super, super, super hot, and I was wearing a long sleeve shirt. So if you know that it gets hot in the state or country, I don't know, that your college is in, make sure that you dress appropriately for the weather that it's going to be, because I'm that idiot who always wears a long sleeve shirt even in the summer, so that was my own fault, but don't do that. What else did I have written down? So they're going to give you lots of free stuff. Make sure you wear walking shoes or just something comfortable. For those who care, you'll probably be taking your ID picture too, so wear something that you're not going to regret later, or like if you're somebody who does makeup, like do your makeup and bring something to touch up, because for my freshman orientation and my sister's, that was like the very last thing we did, like the last thing. So my cat is somewhere in here. Make sure that you feel good in your ID picture, because you're probably not going to be getting a new one your whole college years or your whole college experience, because I didn't. My mom didn't. She was in college for like 10 years while I was growing up, and she never got a new picture. So be prepared to not have a new picture taken every year like you might in high school. Be prepared to get like cute for it if that's something that's important to you or whatever. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, so if it's an all day thing, which it probably will be, they might provide you with food. So I don't remember if we ate at my freshman orientation, but I know at the one that I worked at the other day, they provided catering, and they provided sandwiches. So if you have dietary restrictions or you're super picky like myself, you might want to bring your own food. So for instance, I don't like tomatoes and I don't like lettuce on sandwiches, and like I just have all these things that I hate. So the sandwich catering wasn't that good for me, because they're already pre-made and they obviously have tomatoes. Sandwiches always come with tomatoes on them. And I'm also vegetarian, so my options were limited to begin with. So I suggest bringing food if you know you're picky, even if they say catering, just in case, because I don't want you to be hungry. And I think that's good. Bring water too. because if it's an all-day sort of thing, you might not get a chance to get water all the time. And then, oh, be prepared to be waiting in line for a while. So for the schedule making, you'll probably see an advisor, and then they'll probably tell you what you should take for your schedule. That took me forever, and making your schedule, making your class was just like so rough, and figuring out what you were going to take, and it took forever, and I was in the computer lab for a super long time, and that was the part that took the longest, because depending on what time in the summer you go, if you go early, it probably won't be as busy. One of my friends went, and she was able to get everything done super fast and then go to her high school prom. But that might not be the case for you if you do it later. So don't wait to do your freshman orientation. Do it pretty early so you don't have to wait 5 hours to do your schedule, and it's, it's not that fun. Plus the classes start to fill up. But yeah, and your advisor should tell you like what you should take. I recommend to do what your advisor says with your classes, because I didn't, and it's sort of biting me in the butt now. I will make a different video about my whole college experience if I think that there's a need for that, which I think that probably will be something I do. But yeah, I guess those are all my tips on freshman orientation. And have fun and ask lots of questions, because this is the time where you can, and nobody's going to look at you like you're an idiot. And I'm not saying that people will later once you're in college and stuff, but you might feel more intimidated because everybody seems to know what they're doing and you don't. So I would take advantage of any of those resources that your school has for you, because speaking as someone who didn't, because I didn't, we have like these classes that are geared towards freshman students so that it helps them like learn the campus or whatever, or like learn how to be in college. I didn't take that, and sometimes I regret it, because I think it probably would have been beneficial to me. I would have made friends a lot faster. I probably would have enjoyed school more my first 2 semesters or so. So like, I think that it's really important to take advantage of those. Even if you think you're too cool for it, you're not. They're usually made to help you, and you're paying for this, so you might as well take advantage of everything that's available to you. I also think like if they're having any events, like anything like to welcome freshmen that's like potentially optional, you should just go, because you'll look back and have memories, and you might meet new friends or people that you wouldn't have otherwise met. Because once you start getting into your college classes, at least on my campus, I know that there are other campuses that are more friendly than others, and other atmospheres that are more like party type schools or something like that. But my school is kind of known as a serious school, so it's kind of hard to make friends. At least it was for me, because everybody's so focused in their schoolwork. So if they have like options for you where you could go meet people and have a good time, like I would take advantage of that, because sometimes when you're in classes, people aren't really willing to like talk. But if you have friends already going into class, they're going to be a lot more likely to like be friendly to you. And I didn't used to think that friends were like an important part of college, but now that I have friends, I feel like I get a lot more out of my classes, and I care more about them, and I feel like if I need help with something, I'm not just like totally alone and I only have the professor to ask. I actually have like a couple people who also had the notes and they could send it to me, and I feel like it's a lot less intimidating to ask a peer for notes instead of like asking your professor, and your professor might not get back to you as fast as another student might. So those are just my suggestions. I'll probably do more college related videos pretty soon here, but thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Oh, sorry. Bye.